Hi guys, so this is something I'm just putting together on the 8th grade Virginia Civics and Economics material. I hope sincerely it's beneficial to you. And this video today, what we're going to focus on is Chapter 1, Section 1 of this textbook. So if you have it with you, you can follow along. I do apologize, the picture is not very good. One thing I need to note, as in all the lectures and PowerPoints and videos that I'm going to make on this content, when I bold something in the PowerPoint, it means that it's important, so that you should write it down. So the SOL material in this section is create and explain maps, diagrams, tables, charts, and graphs, and evaluate how civic and social duties address community needs. In this lecture, we're going to focus on the second one today. Vocabulary in this section of the chapter is demography, sunbelt, service job, baby boom, diversity, and citizen. And specifically next, we're going to focus on demography, diversity, and citizen. So a citizen is a person with certain rights, responsibilities, and duties under a government. We're going to focus on the word responsibilities here and what responsibilities a good citizen has. Demography is the study of size, growth, and distribution of human populations. Individuals who study demography study how old people are in a community, or the ethnicity of people in the community, whether or not there's more African Americans or Hispanic people or Asians. The location of people in the community. Where are people located? The amount of citizens in a community. How many people are at your school? The employment of people community. What do people do for a living? Finally, diversity means differences in our community. And one thing I need to mention is that while skin color, as the picture shows, is a difference, there are also many other differences between people. So there are some people who can play basketball real well. There's some people who can't. That is an element or part of our diversity as a society. So in order to frame this chapter well, in order to really give you an idea of what the story of this section is, you need to ask yourself, what is a good citizen? What characteristics make up a good citizen? What do good citizens do? So you might want to stop this video right now to answer these questions. You might earn a Good Citizens Award, I don't know. So part of my list when I was trying to answer these questions are good citizens work towards a common good. Good citizens vote. They hold government office. They participate in election campaigns. They try to influence the government. And they serve the community. And what we're going to focus on in this part of the video is serving the community, because that's what this section really talks about. That's the story of this section. And you may ask, well, can there be a good citizen that doesn't serve the community? Well, I would just beg you to consider the following scenario. You have a house and you have another house. Two people are neighbors towards each other, but one of those houses catches on fire. What is that neighbor likely to do? Are they likely to just sit in their rooms playing their Xboxes, ignoring the plight of their fellow man right next to them? No, they won't. They're going to help their neighbor out. They're going to, in other words, help a brother out. That's why serving the community is part of being good citizens. Because we're all a citizen of the United States, so we're all part of the community of the United States. And as part of that community, we try to make it better. And to make the community better, we often do things like we help a brother out. So now we know that part of being a good citizen is serving the community. And the next question is, how does your knowledge of demography help you work for the common good, serve the community, do good for the people around you? Stop the video now and write your answer to that question. Alright, so my answer, if I were to think this through, is that knowing demography helps you know the needs of the people around you. So, people who are garbage men. It's a demographic term for a person employed as a garbage worker. People who are garbage men have different needs than people who are dentists. People who are dentists have different needs from people who are teachers in the public school, people who are African Americans, are their needs are often met better in a particular way than people who are maybe Asian. You can't sometimes do the same thing you do for one culture for another culture. Knowledge of demography helps you know how to meet the needs of people around you and helps you know what those needs are. So now we sort of know that demography helps us know the needs of people. But what are some of the demographic things that have happened in America? Where did we come from? What has been the demographic changes of America? Well, the book starts with the westward expansion of the United States. And basically, what it is that if you see those dark brown areas on the East Coast there, Virginia, where we are at now, New York, Pennsylvania, basically what the book is saying is that we started there and then we moved west in different parts of our history. So that was a demographic change, a change in our location, in our movement of people. Another thing the book starts to talk about is that we started to move to cities after we moved west. So you'll learn this in other history classes as well, and social studies classes as well. But we started manufacturing in factories. This meant that all the jobs were located in one place. They weren't spread out in different farms, in different towns, in different villages. They were located in one place. So what ended up happening is another demographic trend, another movement of people, was we started moving like this family here to cities. We started moving to those locations where the jobs were at. So we started moving to New York, Chicago, etc. So as I was talking about, we moved to manufacturing in cities. We moved to those factories in cities. We went from farming and then we saw, hey, there's more money to be made in cities, or we can make money in cities because there's more jobs. So then we drove a little car like that picture to the city. But now the most recent trend is that we moved from factories and cities to service jobs. This demographic change in employment basically is different from the other two because no longer are we worried about necessarily producing objects or food or cherries or steaks or anything like that, but we serve other people and we get paid for it. So Facebook is a service. Facebook serves everybody by connecting people together online. Your accountant is a service. They serve you by managing your money. Service jobs are different from manufacturing and farming because the service jobs do not produce an actual literal object. They are instead people who make a living by providing a service for other people. Another change demographically that has happened to American society is that we have grown older. So in the past, in 1850, most of the people around were under 60. But now, because of medicine, you can live to 76 years old. That's old. That's really old. Also, there's this thing called baby boomers and the baby boom. And what ended up happening is after World War II, many Americans who came home had 3 or more kids, large families. This resulted in many adults, many of which are your parents. Your parents are the baby boomers, the baby boom generation. But then what ended up happening is your parents had fewer kids. And so you can think about what this might do to society, what this might do and cause problems for in society if you have more old people than young people, because this is the world that's sort of being created now. So in conclusion, I want you guys to think about, how can you be a good citizen today? We sort of talked about citizenship and demography and how demography helps. And we also sort of talked about the demographic changes in America. Where are we now and what did we come from? But now you have to apply it today. Think about how you might be able to help your classmates in school. Stop this video and write them down. Think about how does the knowledge of demography of your school help? Write it down. Think about how you can serve your community around you. Write it down. Some of the things I came up with were volunteer to support democratic institutions, for example, the League of Women Voters. Now, you guys probably don't know that, but think about your schools in general. You might have a student government. They elect the president usually, a vice president, a secretary sometimes, and they're responsible to you. So you can support your student government. Express concern about the welfare of a community as a whole. You can actually express concern to your principal about the welfare of your education at a particular school. They listen. They're supposed to. You can also help to make the community a good place to work and live by becoming involved in public service organizations or tutoring your fellow classmates if they're really struggling in science or English, and volunteering in nursing homes.